March, of course, when you're in sales, you do a lot of cold calling. And so, as everyone has been reading, that Sheetz is coming to Columbus. So, of course, in hotels, we're always trying to see if we can get them to stay at our hotels when they're building. So I noticed that they were building one in Delaware, which is close to where I'm, yes. So I drove up there in March and I met Jim Williams. He was so nice. It was like 3 days before they actually had their VIP pre-opening. And he was so nice. He opened the door and he gave me a tour. This is before it had opened, and I was very impressed with his hospitality. And then I met the GM, Chelsea, and she was so sweet too. So they invited me to their pre-opening and I went. And then I started thinking about maybe we can get Sheetz to speak at our Rotary. So making those connections, I got a hold of Nicholas Ruffner, who is the public relations manager, and he also got together with their director of real estate, which is Brian Dinges. So I am so happy to have them here with us today. They're going to talk a little bit about the history, the culture, and what they have planned for Columbus. So I'll turn them over to them.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, sounds good. Well, my name is Nick Ruffner. I'm the manager of public relations for Sheetz, and it's really great to be here today. I already, even though we've only been in the market for a short time, I do see some familiar faces. It's been really great to work with folks in the Columbus market. I'm looking at Debbie Donahue, who we worked with from Ohio Health. We've been working on getting ingrained in the market because it's really important for us to be a community-minded company. So it's good to see some familiar faces today. But so I will be talking about the history of Sheetz, the culture, and some other things that make us kind of a really special family-owned and operated company. So I am going to try to share my screen here and be right with you. So as I mentioned, my name is Nick Ruffner. I'm the manager of public relations, and Brian Dinges is here as well. And he's the director of real estate for our company. And Brian and I obviously will answer any questions that anybody has after the presentation. But I wanted to start with a little bit of history of our company. So Sheetz, like many convenience stores across the country, Sheetz actually got its start as a dairy company. And while our roots of our company really were firmly planted in 1952 with the founding of Sheetz, it actually began more than 100 years ago, almost 120 years ago at this point, with J.E. Harshberger. And he was a 1904 graduate of the Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania. And J.E. worked at a big bank in Philadelphia, but he had the urge to start something of his own. And so he moved to Altoona, which was his hometown. So he came back to Altoona in Pennsylvania. And Altoona is located, for those who don't know, it's about an hour south of State College. Of course, with the rivalry between Penn State and Ohio State, that should be familiar to a lot of folks on the call. So that's where it's located. And what J.E. did was he went back to work on his brother Billy's chicken farm. And he talked to other farmers who said that they were looking for a way to sell their milk. And so he took advantage of that opportunity by buying a horse and buggy and began picking up their milk at the train station every morning. And then so people would come to his house to get their milk. And that's a look at his dairy processing facility in the 1920s and 1923. And his business grew pretty quickly, and he was able to build a state-of-the-art milk plant. And then his son-in-law, Jerry Sheetz, worked at the dairy, and he saw that the milk delivery system was changing, moving away from home delivery to retail stores. And Jerry also had a really great idea at that time. He attended a conference in Philadelphia, and there were two name tags on the table, one with the name Sheetz spelled S-H-E-E-T-S, and the other with the name spelled S-H-E-E-T-Z. And Jerry just decided to pick up the one that had the Z at the end of the name because he thought it would be better for marketing for his company. And that is where the name as we know it, Sheetz with a Z, is born. And I know we appreciate that because we take full advantage of that Z. and the SH as well, as we add that to a lot of our different products. But so Jerry founded the Sheetz Dairy Store, and he had 5 of them that opened between 1943 and 1945. And those dairy stores were pretty successful and supported a lot of the family as well. But Jerry's son, Bob, made him an offer in 1952 when he was 18 years old that he would buy the company's unprofitable Fifth Avenue store in Altoona. And that became the first Sheetz Quick Shopper and the official beginning of the Sheetz story. The story is always told that he bought the store off of his dad for $1,000, and his dad handed him back $100 and said, "You'll need that at the end of the day to pay everybody." But it was actually became very successful. And so the company was originally known as the Sheetz Quick Shopper. And again, he was only 18 years old at the time and had 8 employees, and half of those were family. And that's the family today. So there's actually a family council that's involved in the operation of Sheetz that now numbers 121 plus people. But these are the folks that are actively involved in running the company on a day-to-day basis. So there's 12 family members active, and they represent the first, second, and third generations of the Sheetz family. Our current CEO is Joe Sheetz, and his brother Travis, who you can see there in the center of the tree, is our current COO, Chief Operating Officer, and President. But those are all of the different folks that are involved in the company. And it's a family-owned and family-operated business, and feels like that. I know from my role as a public relations manager, I deal with a lot of these different members of the family on a day-to-day basis. So to be able to have that level of access to the folks that are running the company for somebody whose role depends on communication is very important to me. And here's where we're at. And this is obviously growing. I mean, the same states that we've been in for some time, 6 stores, more than 620 store locations, and obviously growing into Columbus as well now, with our first store in Delaware being open. And our company actually serves 1.5 million customers daily, and we are open 24/7 and 365. We're one of the only companies that is open on every holiday, and something that we have celebrated for years with free coffee on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So definitely like to give back to our communities at those times of the year. And we have approximately 21,500 employees, with a total sales of more than $7.4 billion at the last fiscal year, where those statistics are available. And I do want to make a point while we're on this slide that we had a pretty large announcement last month that we are actually increasing our wages by $2 permanently, and by $3 for the summer season. So a $2 permanent wage increase for our store employees and a $1 temporary increase. It actually brings our average wage for one of our store employees to $15.50 per hour. And that decision was made for a lot of reasons. One, because we like to continue to revisit where our wages stand and how we're compensating our employees, but also because we want to be the most attractive place for our employees to come to work. And we do believe that there is a great career path that exists within our store locations that allows folks to start out as a salesperson on the sales floor and rise to the ranks of a store manager, a district manager, even a regional manager. Several of our regional managers started at the store level as a salesperson and have worked their way up, and some of them in short order, to be a regional sales director. So it definitely provides a really great career path, and increasing wages and making sure that we're on the cutting edge of that is a big part of what we like to do to make sure that everybody knows that, and that they think that Sheetz is an attractive place to come to work. And so folks that are interested in working at Sheetz, definitely as we move into the Columbus market, can apply for jobs at jobs.sheetz.com. But our employees are our greatest asset, and we survey our employees on a yearly basis. And we're really proud of the information on this slide, because 7 out of the last 8 years, we have been ranked as one of the top 100 places to work by Fortune magazine. And that's a result of the surveys that our employees fill out. So, while we do continue to take a look at wages and making sure that we're making adjustments to remain competitive in the workforce, it's seen by our employees, and that this ranking is a result of the different things that they are telling us. And really what it comes down to is innovation. But I think that Stan Sheetz, a former CEO of the company, really put it best when he said years ago, "I want to create the business that will put Sheetz as we know it today out of business." And, working for the company for the last several years and in talking with people from the store level on up to the corporate side of our business, this is something that you see everywhere. It's something that people are striving to do. We have really been focused on innovation since the beginning of our company. At the beginning of the history of Sheetz, we were basically a deli store with a huge deli counter with all kinds of options. Bob Sheetz's goal when he founded the company was to be the ultimate stop for convenience for his customers. And to that point, he would go to the different stores around his hometown of Altoona and buy out all of the bread. So whenever folks needed bread, they would have to come to Sheetz to get bread. And so he had a lot of great innovative ideas, and we've carried that through. First of all, in transforming Sheetz into more than just a convenience store. When we were just located in Pennsylvania and some certain West Virginia locations, we transitioned to self-serve gasoline whenever Pennsylvania made some legislative changes to make that possible. And now obviously gas is available at all but 2 of our store locations. And then we had the birth of the MTO in 1986. This was an idea that came from one of our store managers in 1986 in Maryland, and he saw that people wanted to have the ability to customize things that they would buy from his store. And at that time, all of the store managers were in charge of their own food service. And so he gave people the ability to take a little sheet of paper with pre-printed options and a golf pencil, and people would check off what they wanted on their sandwich. And so that was the birth of the made-to-order sandwich. But that has obviously evolved since then as well. In 1994, we were the first company in the restaurant and convenience store industries to introduce touchscreen ordering. And as everybody knows on this call, that's something that it's become ubiquitous across both of those industries. Any kind of quick service location or fast food location, you're seeing more and more of these touchscreen kiosks coming to life. But that is something that we were very ahead of the game on, rolling them out in 1994, because again, Stan Sheetz wanted his customers to have the same kind of options and make the system very consistent, as opposed to continuing to use golf pencils and paper. But definitely a lot of credit goes to the birth of this convenient ordering system that we have now transitioned to being able to order on your phone app. Sheetz is available on Android and iPhone devices. You can order on the website, and you basically just pick a location that's near to you, finish your order, making the same customization that you can in one of our store locations, and then you just head to that location within 10 minutes, and it is there waiting for you, paid for, and you can pick it up and walk out of the door. We also have Sheetz Go, and Sheetz Go works again through the Sheetz app. When folks enter our store location, they will be given the opportunity to scan barcodes of items within the store, and they pay on their cell phone app, and they can exit the store without interacting with the store team. And we rolled that out company-wide during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was something that we were working on pretty diligently, but when we saw the reality of the COVID-19 pandemic, we thought it was a great way to encourage social distancing, but also maintain the same level of convenience that our customers are used to. And so that is really a way that from the very beginning of the company, we are transitioning and innovating on providing the best experience for our customers using the technology that is available to us at the time. And this is what a store location looks like today. This is actually not a picture of our Delaware store location, but it looks exactly the same. So this is what you'll see if you go into one of our store locations in 2021 and specifically that Delaware store location. So we've come a long way since the Sheetz Quick Shopper days in the 1950s, and definitely from our store designs in the 1980s and 1990s. Definitely something that Brian will be able to speak to from the real estate side and store development. But as you can see, there's lots of very bright locations, definitely a combination of a restaurant and a convenience store all in one. To the right of the frame, there is a case loaded with fresh takeout food, and that is yogurts and sandwiches and grapes and fruit. But also in the center there are kiosks where you can order and customize your food. We've actually talked about reaching out to the Guinness Book of World Records to see if we have the most available combinations in the world, because they really are limitless. All of the items that you can customize, and then all of the combinations that you can put on them. And then to the far left is our seating area. So our seating areas are now open as we continue to roll back some COVID-19 regulations, and really just want people to come in, and we want to be the ultimate one-stop shop. So we want people to get what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. And that's really our driving ultimate position statement that we are trying to get across to our customers. And Sheetz actually sells more food per day per location than the average Burger King, Wendy's, and Taco Bell. And our sales really have increased over the past year as well. And so this is more true today than ever, and really proud of the constant 24/7, 365 work of our store teams to make this possible. But obviously it goes beyond sales as well. And as many of you know, Special Olympics Ohio is based in Columbus. We're a major partner for the Special Olympics in each state where our stores operate. Our customers donate to state Special Olympics organizations 10 months out of the year, and that results in donations of hundreds of thousands of dollars to those state organizations on a year-to-year basis, totaling in total for our 6 states in 2020, $800,000. So really a big credit goes to our customers for that support. In addition, we provide food and supplies for Special Olympic events, and we also donate $2,500 to Special Olympics at every new store opening. The second charitable organization I wanted to highlight is Sheetz for the Kids. This is something that started way back in 1992, so it's going on 28 years now. And in 2020, we assisted approximately 10,000 kids per store location, or I'm sorry, not per store location, overall, and 16 kids per store location. So a total of 10,000 children. And this is an employee operated charitable organization where our store employees shop for, wrap, and present gifts to less fortunate kids in the holiday season. But really has evolved too to involve a partnership with Make-A-Wish, where we grant the wish of one child from each of our operating districts. And we also have impacted 129,000 children through this organization since 1992. But it has evolved over the past couple of years to now include grants to Feeding America partner food banks, which really, hopefully, our goal is to make a big difference in childhood hunger, which we know is such a major issue in the areas that we serve. Actually, in some areas, more than 1 in 5 kids is hungry. And so that's why we partnered with Feeding America on another partnership called Made to Share. And through this program, our store locations donate ready-to-eat food to local Feeding America food banks on a weekly basis. Our goal is to donate 2 million pounds of food. And this program just started on a corporate-wide basis a couple years ago, but it's been very successful so far and very well received, not only by our store locations, but also by our Feeding America partners. And we also present a $2,500 check to our Feeding America partner food banks at every new store opening. And before COVID-19, when we had folks joining us on the lot as far as customers, we also invited our customers to donate non-perishable food that would go directly to the local food bank to make an immediate difference in hunger. And so all of that is to say that that is the foundation for this big move into Columbus. And we have 12 stores planned per year through 2025 for about 50 store locations. Our first store location opened in April. You can see it there on the lower right of your screen in Delaware, Ohio. And I think I did see somebody mentioned two stores in Delaware. That is true. We are planning two stores in Delaware, one to come later. And we also are building Columbus partnerships as well. We have a great relationship with the Mid-Ohio Food Collective, and we're also actively looking for sponsorship and donation partners. And so if you have a organization in mind, definitely we're looking for nonprofit organizations that impact youth or the community. I would invite them to go to Sheetz.com, look for the community tab and click on donation and sponsorship. And there is a convenient form that folks can fill out. But each of these store locations will employ 30 to 35 people. And I know that we are really excited to be part of the Columbus community. I'm excited to be back out in Columbus later this month to open up our new store location in Obetz that is coming. And we have even more on the schedule throughout the summer, a very busy summer timeframe for Sheetz new store openings in Columbus. But it's a really great community. I've enjoyed traveling out there and meeting all kinds of new partners and folks from the business community. And that is pretty much it for our presentation, but definitely want to offer up the opportunity for questions as well. But I thank you for the time.
All right. Thanks, Nick. All right, who has some of the first questions? Either raise your
Chip.
hand.
Hi, Chip.
Hi, Scott.
I'd like to ask a question and make a comment. A location that Sheetz will not be opening is on Olentangy River Road, north of 270, directly across from Worthington Hills. When you announced that location, you ran into some very serious community opposition. I think the way Sheetz handled it was absolutely admirable. And I wonder if you could comment on that and the process you went by and the principles that drove you in how you handled your response to the community opposing that location.
Scott, I can weigh in on that to begin, but then I'll throw it over to Brian Dingus from our real estate side to offer more comments. You know, I think that when we encounter issues like this in a community, it's important to listen and be driven by the driving principle that Sheetz wants to be the best neighbor that it can be in every community where its store locations call home. And I think definitely that was a driving force in those discussions at Olentangy Hills. But I will throw it over to Buzz for more color from the real estate side of things.
Good afternoon. I probably show up on your screens as Buzz. That is my nickname. Brian's my given name. Don't confuse the Z at the end of Buzz with anything Sheetz. I do not have their pocket. So, thanks for having us. And great question. There were a lot of things that were involved in that particular decision. As you probably know, being that we have 620 stores, Worthington Hills was not the first time we've encountered some opposition, some level of opposition to us putting a store, either in a community or near a neighborhood. I think it was the culmination of a lot of things. Obviously, some of the feedback that we received from the community. There was a water aquifer in that community as well. Some very detailed things about the aquifer were that it was a shallow aquifer. There was some other competition in the area, and just our immaturity in the market had something to do with it as well. But you know, we believe that we are the best operator in class and that we do a tremendous job serving our constituencies and our community involvement in how we treat our employees. And, you know, I can't tell you this for sure, but maybe down the road, if this was 5 years later, we may not have had the type of opposition if people understood who Sheetz was and how we operate. But at the time, I think it was the best decision. But good question. And thanks for your statement.
I have to say, the way you listened to the community, because there was concern about that aquifer,
Sure.
and the way you reached a decision I think is a stunningly good example of corporate citizenship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for your comments.
For hands up. Yeah, Hugo.
Yeah, I stopped at Sheetz. So number one, thank you for your presentation. I've stopped at Sheetz a lot of times and I always found the bathrooms to be large and very clean and were very well maintained. So we appreciate that. Only thing ever bugs me, and it's not unique to Sheetz. People park at the gas pump and then go inside and eat or whatever they do and plug up the gas pump for like 20 minutes at a time. If you could somehow figure out how to get them out of there so other people can pump gas, that'd be great.
Yeah, Hugo, appreciate your comments about the restrooms. That is an area of focus for us. We've actually been ranked by Gas Buddy in several states where we operate for having the cleanest restrooms. So it is a source of pride. We actually have a guarantee in our restrooms where you can reach out to the family about the cleanliness of our restrooms. And I don't know how many folks have had the opportunity to check out the Delaware, Ohio store location, but the restrooms there are really awesome. The Delaware location features our newest store design, and there are a lot of great touches on that. One I mentioned was the natural light and definitely the layout as well, which is really a great blend between a restaurant and a convenience store. And it's funny to talk about restrooms in this way, but really I've just, kind of go there and say that the coolest feature of the restrooms in the new store location is they have natural light, obviously private light, but natural light in the restrooms as well. So they're really nice, and definitely has been an area of focus for us for decades.
Good. Looks like somebody asked, when will the Hilliard location open?
Bear with me. I have my construction schedule here.
Yeah. Millie must live out that way. She wants to know when it's going to open.
I know our management team just showed up as of last Friday to start to assemble their team. Hilliard is slated right now to open August 3rd this summer.
There we go, August 3rd. Our executive director, Scott Brown's happy about that as well. Must be in his backyard as well.
And we're hoping to get back to being able to welcome people from the community out to these new store openings too. Definitely, as we continue to see COVID-19 cases recede, we'll be looking forward to getting to meet the folks out there in Columbus. Definitely, my team handles those opening the new stores, so we are definitely looking forward to it.
Any other questions for Nick or Buzz?
I got
Sandy, and then I'll go to Mark, and then Manana.
Thanks for your presentation. Given the number of hours that you're open, are you concerned at all about security? We've had a lot of issues with some, carjackings and that kind of issue around the town. Do you do something special with the security at your locations?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that, Sandy. Thanks for the question. So our stores are almost every area of our stores are covered with security cameras that are very high quality. We also have a fully staffed 24/7 operations security center that is actually based in Altoona, but I'm sorry about my phone ringing. All of the stores are served by that, and our store team members have an immediate pipeline to that store operations center. And then we also, building partnerships locally with law enforcement is something that's very important to us, making sure that when we do have an issue at the store that we can reach out to them and have them there in short order. So definitely, as a convenience store company, security is something that is one of our top priorities, and keeping our customers and our employees safe.
Thank you.
Mark?
first off, I'd like to say thank you. We do business with you guys. We provide brick and other materials. So thank you partnering with a local company here and being a masonry distributor. Second, with the numbers of electric cars growing, are you guys putting in charging stations? How do you guys address that going forward in the future?
Yeah, good question, Mark. We have, I believe, about 50 or between 50 and 60 store locations that have electric car chargers. I am not sure about, where those chargers are going to be located or if they're going to be located at the Columbus store locations. Being that Brian is in our real estate side, he might be able to shed some light on that. But as you mentioned, that is really important to be able to be the ultimate one-stop shop, because that goes beyond just, a platitude or something we say for marketing. We want to make sure that we are, as much as we can be, all things to all people. And so we know we have a lot of brand loyalty among folks that drive electric cars, and the Tesla charging locations, which make up a big percentage of our car charging locations. Plus, we do have some universal car charging locations as well. We know that those are really well received by our customers that drive electric cars, and it's important to be on the cutting edge of that. But I'll throw that over to Brian in case he has any other comments.
Sure. As Nick had mentioned, we have 50, 55 locations which we currently have EV charging. It is a mixture between Tesla, EVgo, and Electrify America, 3 providers. At some point, I can see us offering a proprietary product from Sheetz for EV charging. There is no consensus on adoption of EVs and EV vehicles. Depending upon state and federal mandates, it may be a faster switch, but we've been on the forefront of doing it. The EV ownership network beyond Tesla asks for Sheetz specifically because of our one-stop shop. So, kind of the way we've done everything else, we hear our customers, we hear their wants and their needs, and we try to react accordingly. So there will be sites in Columbus, Central Ohio that have it. It's pretty tough now because it's not in our hands, it's in our providers' hands to go where they want to install their technology.
Manana and
Yes, I have just a comment. Again, thank you both for, speaking today. I really appreciate it. But I do want to let everybody know that I did stop at Sheetz today. I don't know if you can see these. Are they gobs with a Z? So at our next meeting, which is Monday, I talked to Chelsea today, and she's going to donate some of these for us for our next meeting next Monday. So anyone who signs up gets one of those.
Everybody will love them.
Yes, I agree.
I would just like to make one comment. I was in Rotary here in Altoona for 19 years before job and family required a lot more travel, and for me to make the attendance guidelines that we had. But I was both president and I ran our student exchange program, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do in your community. I know what the organization is about, and how service above self is one of the mottos there. And I just wanted to applaud you guys for what you do, because it's really important to the community. So thanks a lot.
thanks, Brian.
I want to add to Buzz. Buzz, you can do makeups anywhere in the world, and your Rotary directory tells you where you can make up any city and almost anywhere. So love to have you come back.
All right. I'm in Columbus every 2 weeks, so I spend a lot of time there.
And there are no more attendance guidelines.
Oh, there aren't. Okay.
All right, Mr. Waters.
I just want to, I'm a guest of Mark Klotz, so, and I work also for Hamilton Parker, and we want to thank the support we do get from Sheetz. But the question I have is with, the gas situation from time to time, and I think it'll creep up, what is Sheetz doing to make sure that there's proper supplies? Do they have a particular plan or goal that they keep in mind?
Are you talking mainly about the recent issue with the Colonial Pipeline?
Yes.
So yes, I can talk a little bit about how we handled that situation. Obviously, Virginia and North Carolina were severely impacted by the Colonial Pipeline, since that is the pipeline that serves those areas. I would say generally our goal when we do have a pipeline issue is to divert supply from areas that have it to the areas that are dealing with a shortage. And I think definitely giving some major kudos to our supplier partner, CLI Transportation, because they did a wonderful job during the Colonial Pipeline situation and keeping our stores online. We obviously had some temporary outages of certain blends of gasoline during the Colonial issue, but our stores broadly were served during that time when a lot of competitors were completely without gasoline. And so because we have such a large network and are served by several different pipelines, we were able to keep our stores up and running during that time. And you know, as a gas company, we obviously have a lot of practice in that too, because we've had issues with other pipelines in the past. I believe there was a leak or an issue with the Colonial Pipeline a few years ago. And so that is our goal whenever we do have pipeline issues such as that, is to divert the supply and make sure that our store locations are able to serve customers to their best ability.
Okay. All right, well, Nick and Brian, really want to thank you guys for joining us today and sharing the Sheetz story, and welcome to the community. And we're glad that you guys are here. We look forward to watching your growth over the next 3-4 years and what may come beyond. So again, thank you, and thanks Banana for making it happen today. And if you have other questions, I see Nick put his email in the chat, so if anybody has other further questions, they can reach out, I'm sure, to Nick, and he can answer for you.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. Thanks, Chip, and everyone for inviting us. We really appreciate the opportunity to have this time to meet with folks in the community.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining today. Let you know that next week we'll be on Zoom again. We're going to be featuring Rainier Dinkelman from Germany, and he's going to be discussing autonomous vehicles. So we're going to learn a little bit more about autonomous vehicles. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Monday. Thanks for joining. We are adjourned.